Hey there, I have chicken in this cast iron skillet that is in a light coconut oil. The spices that I have in here is a teaspoon of arbor chili powder. I have chili powder, regular chili powder, sweet chili powder. I have paprika, a fourth of a teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of cumin, and I'm letting this cook over a medium-high heat. For my potatoes that I went ahead and cooked, I'm going to return them after the chicken has finished cooking, but it is a red potato and the red onion. How I cut that is that I did a moderately even cut, which is about 1/2 inch, and then cut it in thirds around the rainbow. Okay. The other side is that I did the potatoes. I cut them and I sliced them up, kept the skin on. The nutrients are in the skin, and then we just do a cut across, make them slightly smaller. They're going to cook rather quickly. That's why I went ahead and cooked them first, because they're dense. I went ahead and cooked them. Took them off the heat so I could add the chicken. From here, the chicken is getting nice and hot. I'm going to add here's the red bell pepper, a little water into it. Slight water, 1/4 cup. Bring that heat down just a little bit so I can steam the red and orange bell pepper. Excuse me, the pepper got in my throat. Stir this in. Try not to let your vegetables fall out. I am not editing this video. It is honest and true to fashion. I am not going to cover this. It's on a high heat. What I am going to allow it to do is for the water to cook down till it completely evaporates. And I will add my potato and red onion back to the skillet. If you choose to use rice instead of potato, then what I would do with this particular dish is you can, at this point, when the water cooks, evaporates all the way out, then add your red onion to this skillet, let it become tender, bring the flavors into the dish, cook your rice separately, and lay over 2 ounces of rice, jasmine, basmati. You can even do a brown rice with this particular dish. I suggest cooking it with a long grain or a rice that cooks longer than 5 minutes, in my opinion. So I'm going to let this cook down. It's evaporating all the way out. Red bell pepper, I'm going to just tell you this here. These little white pieces right here, we don't want to cut that out when you are cutting your red bell pepper. You want to keep it in. What this is, this actually helps the connective tissue in your body. It contains selenium. This is very rich in vitamin C at 170 milligrams. 100 more milligrams more than an orange, and no sugar. If you substitute the red potato for a purple potato, which I recommend as well, it is going to have less starch in in your potatoes. So the glycemic load will be less. With the chicken, because it has the amino acids and it does contain, because you know the bone broth, you hear of collagen, you have to add the vitamin C to chicken in order for that protein to metabolize in your body. The red onion is very rich, obvious, in vitamin C as well, and antioxidants. It is going to lower your cholesterol levels, and the red onion will bring a sweet flavor to this dish. So I'm not adding any sugar to this dish. We have sweetness from the red bell pepper, orange bell pepper, and the red onion. With the heat, then we create a sweet heat. You could even add to this dish, at this particular time, sesame seeds. Kind of a cool little look to it, and it's very flavorful. Notice how the red bell pepper, everything's softening, everything's cooking out at this point. There is still water in. It's starting to evaporate out, if you notice that. All those bubbles right there, very dense bubbles, lets me know that it's getting to the end of its lifespan in this skillet. If I move it to this side, moving all the water to this side, you notice how it's concentrated in the electric eye, right in the center, where the outside not so much. So with an electric eye, instead of a gas stove, you're going to have a very high concentration in the middle. Anytime that you need to cook something more so with this electric eye, move it to the center where all that heat is concentrated, and move the meat out to the edges or whatever is already cooked that you don't want to have cook anymore, and then allow for that to take place where it's evenly cooking. So move your food around. You don't want to just keep stirring it. Really move it. When you move around your food, make sure you're moving your food around to where it makes sense. You're taking the food out of the heat, the concentration of the heat, and putting the food that I want to cook a little more and soften more to the middle where the concentration of the heat is. At this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the potato and the red onion to the top of this. I'm going to allow the flavors. I have a rosemary with the potato when I cooked it, and I'm just going to let that rosemary and basil actually cook through on top with the peppers. Now you can hear the oil starting to mix with the water. It's going to get a little louder, and that's what that is. You're going to hear it getting louder and louder. All that means is that the oil is mixing with water. And also that the water is starting to evaporate out of your dish. Okay. There you go, a very simple dish. You can, with this, do two things as well. If you don't add the potatoes, you can just say, let's not add potatoes at all. Just have the chicken and bell pepper and the onion with the garlic. So you can cook and put it on top of pasta, like a fusilli, which means it's just a corkscrew pasta, or rice of your choice. And then if you decide that you want potatoes, then you can saute potatoes on the side, or you can do mashed potatoes or baked potato and have your starch with this meal. That way, if you're not feeling like starches or you're trying to watch your carbohydrate intake at night, then you don't have the carbs already mixed in with your food. I hope this helps. Have a great day.